because I wanted to be better for my band, I looked for a voice teacher, and my voice teacher introduced me to like Les Mis, Broadway musicals, essentially, and I got hooked, and that's how it started.
Have a favorite musical or playwright that you look up to?
My favorite musical, by all means, is Jesus Christ Superstar. Not because I'm in it, but because I absolutely love it. It was a dream for me to be in a production and to play Jesus and Judas both. It's an honor. Um, when it comes to like writers that I look up to, I most definitely look up Andrew Lloyd Webber. I mean, he has created some of the best musicals in history, like Jesus Christ Superstar, Phantom of the Opera, Cats, Evita, so many, right? So I'll go with him.
Right, he's definitely iconic.
Yeah.
So you went to AMDA. What was moving from Spain to New York City like? What was your biggest challenge?
My biggest challenge, I think, was getting used to the New York City culture. As like Spanish speaking from Spanish speaking countries, the social aspect of our communities is so vivid and so present. And New York City is a city that although it's filled with people, you can feel really lonely, and it's just not the same, right? So for me, it was really getting used to it. It was very hard to like get to know the American culture um, and become one with it, right?
And then did you have to audition for AMDA? What was that process like?
I did. I had to audition for it. I had to prepare one song, one monologue, and um, and then my audition was in London, which was very exciting. I got to see like a couple of London shows, Broadway shows over there while I was at it, and the audition was it was just like any other audition. I mean, it was high stakes because it was for a
Mhm.
school and it was going to determine my future. So I prepared as much as I could and as well as I could without any knowledge because I didn't know what I was doing at the time. I had no teachers, no nothing, right? So I did it all myself. But then in the room, the whole faculty and the people that were auditioning me, they were truly fantastic and so welcoming.
Awesome. Do you have any audition tips, especially for students who might be auditioning for colleges, for musical theater and stuff like that?
Yeah, my tip would be to do what you love. That is so important. And so let's translate that to students, right, who are auditioning. Of course, they're doing what they love because they want to apply for school, right? But pick material that you love because that's the material that's going to be easiest to you both to prepare and to present. So pick a song that you like. Pick a song that suits your personality, your age, all that stuff, because that just rings and goes accordingly with your body, your mind, your everything. But most of all, do what you love, and therefore you'll have fun, and therefore you'll do a good job.
Okay. And then you understudy for Jesus and Judas and Peter as well,
That was
I
that was
think.
back in the day. No, it's only Jesus and Judas now.
Oh, okay. Jesus and Judas. Okay. And so what was the craziest last minute instance that you had to go on for Jesus or Judas?
um, the craziest one would be before the pandemic. Once I had to go on for Jesus, and I was in the ensemble back in the day before the pandemic. So I was getting into my. It was like 30 minutes to the show to showtime. I was in my ensemble clothes, and there must have been something wrong with Aaron, who plays Jesus, right? That he called out within
Mhm.
like 10 minutes before the show. So I had to run to the dressing room, change into the other clothes, vocalize as I was changing, prepare for Jesus, and then hop on stage. And it was magical because oftentimes, when you have a lot of time to think about the preparation or to think about what you're about to do, you overthink it. And then you get on stage and you're thinking too many things and thinking of the things that you've been thinking of, right? So if when you have to do it like that, when you have to just get into the shoes and do it, it's so fresh and it's so everything is happening and it's very natural. So that was the quickest and craziest. And then it has happened many that the morning show I am Jesus and night show I'm Judas. And that is just easy to think of, like Because Jesus in the morning, if I'm playing Jesus in the morning, I'm looking at Judas. But at night, if I'm playing Judas, I'm looking at Jesus. And so it is very interesting to see what they both are doing and then changing it for your performance. It's fun.
Right. And how much time do you have to prepare as the understudy? And like, how do you keep it all separate in your mind, like the two roles?
I think I've been doing this show for such a long time. Now it's been about 2 years. And I had done this show before. So I know the parts very, very well now. The preparation was, yeah, the preparation was a long time, like not only learning how to sing these parts, which are very demanding, but also being comfortable with all of it, both acting and singing. So it takes a while to like embody the characters. But once it's in, yeah, then it's just the right. They're just waiting for them to call you and say, "Hey, you got to do this," or that kind of thing.
And what was the audition process like for Jesus Christ Superstar? Was there anything unique about the experience?
Yeah, the whole production, like director, music director, choreographer, they're very unique. They're great, talented people. So they were very specific with what they were looking for. They were looking for, of course, very talented, particular individuals. In fact, with our production, the ensemble, which oftentimes gets overlooked, if you pick anybody from the ensemble, you'll notice how unique they are, how talented they are. And so the process was just very meticulous, very slow, but yet very entertaining. They were very interested in the person. So they would ask you all these questions and they wanted to see human beings. And so it was truly a delight. Ensemble is the mob, it's a group of people that go from chanting Jesus' name in bliss and in euphoria to crucifying him. So it's a force, in our show you have Jesus, Judas, and Mary, who are the three leads, and besides that you have another lead, which is the ensemble. It's just such a force. So yeah, the ensemble is extremely present in our production.
What's your favorite moment to act or to sing in the show?
I think my favorite moment is there's two of them. The Last Supper between Jesus and Judas and all the apostles in between, because there's such a fight and it happens because of love. I mean, Judas only wants the best for Jesus, and Jesus ultimately only wants the best for everyone. And that's why he's doing what he's doing in our show, in this production. I'm not talking about the Bible. And then the other one would be the moments between Pilate and Christ. Because if I had to play anybody in the role besides Jesus in the show besides Jesus and Judas, it'd be Pilate, because his character is so complex. It's brief because he's not much in the show. He's got like, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes on stage, but it is so vivid. It's so strong. I mean, he is desperately trying to help Jesus, and Jesus is saying, "No, you have nothing in your hands. Like, although you could stop this, you really can't, because it's already written." And so every single moment, every single interaction between Jesus and Pilate, it's so powerful. I love that.
Awesome. And what's the most difficult song to sing?
Most difficult?
Yes.
I'd say maybe Jesus' Gethsemane, because it's so rangeful. You go from going all the way down to "I only want to say" to like all the high stuff, and it all happens so fast. And all of a sudden, you're on that high note, and you're trying to get it out, and sometimes it's very hard. So I'd say that one.
Wow, that's crazy. And then you also, I believe, did Jesus Christ Superstar in London. What was it like performing in Regency Park, and at the time being one of the few theater-going experiences during the pandemic?
We were the only show in London. I mean, London is a musical theater city. You have all these Broadway shows and West End shows. And so being the only one, because we had a park to do it at, it was incredible. I mean, people were so excited to see any show. And this show that talks about love, the story of Jesus Christ, which is incredible. It was an unreal experience. Just to give you an example, the show would start, and the classic tan tan tan. We would go on stage with masks, and we would take them out as that music was happening, and people would start crying from that very first moment. So it was a very powerful experience that I'll never forget.
Wow. And then this show was also performed on Broadway. What do you bring that is unique to you to these roles? Since they already had, performers do it on Broadway, but obviously you take it and make it your own. So what do you bring to the role?
I think the humanity of it and the individuality of each performer. In my case, if you start trying to act like Jesus Christ or like Judas, these biblical huge characters of history, it's impossible because you can't. So what we are asked for from our director, and what we got to do is just be ourselves. Is like, this is Pepe as Jesus, and in this case, Jesus is just Pepe. And so we try to just be as truthful with the material as possible, and that's the only way that it works.
Awesome. And what lessons did you learn through playing Jesus and Judas?
I think love and humanity. Fundamentally, this show is about love. It's about, as I said before, Judas is so desperate to help Jesus because he loves him so much, and because he loves the people that follow Jesus because he's one of them. That he sends his friend to the grave through that. And same thing with Jesus. Jesus loves someone so much and believes in everyone so much that he ultimately sacrifices himself for it. So it teaches you to be a better person, be a better human. And essentially that's it. Just be better, because these people teach you that they did everything for each other.
Right. And then do you have a favorite rehearsal or backstage moment, like behind the scenes?
Very good question. I think one of my favorite moments was when first time we were in a theater. My favorite part was most definitely hearing the band for the first time. Because it's one thing when you're in the rehearsal space and you're doing it with a piano and drums, and then it's a completely different story when you get on stage and you sing for the first time with the whole orchestra. That was just magical, because once again, Andrew Lloyd Webber did a phenomenal job with his music. And when that classic bum, 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 goes off, you melt. So that's my favorite moment.
Mm-hmm. Wow, yeah, and I definitely feel that, because having not gone to Broadway for like 2 years, it feels completely different stepping in and sharing an experience with everybody, like the audience and the actors too. I feel like now we don't take it for granted at all.
No, we gotta not take it for granted.
Do you have a favorite tour stop so far, and why?
I've had many favorite stops. My favorite thus far has been Salt Lake City. Me and some friends, we just got together in an Airbnb and we hiked, and it was just great. The theater was also fantastic.
For my last question, what is your advice for aspiring performers?
My advice is it would be the same as the thing for the audition, right? It's essentially have fun and love. If you love what you do and you do it with love, because when you do something with love, you cannot not do it. If you love something, you do it, and that way you just get better at it. So it's love, and love brings hard work, perseverance, and all of a sudden hard work, perseverance, persistence, they become easy. So work hard, work on what you love, and then it won't be hard. It just luck is when preparation and persistence meets. So work your ass off, work a little harder every day, and everything will be all right.